Hey guys, Joe from Prize Tag Aquariums here, and I'm here to talk about the SunSun canister filters, more specifically mine, which is a 303B. But I wanted to do this video just because of the fact that I didn't want to open the canister filter up and do the whole spiel of taking everything out and doing it tray by tray and that sort of thing, because there's a lot of videos out there that already do that. So this is my video of what I found, and I kind of want this to be a learning experience for myself and for anyone else who has this filter, and see if they still use it, because these filters seem to be phasing out with more and more filters coming out with technology and advancement and that sort of thing. So one thing that I have found in particular when doing this maintenance for 11 months, and believe me, that is way overdue, one thing to keep in mind on these SunSun filters is they come pre-installed with these UV lights, and this can be both good and bad, just because of the fact that the UV light definitely helps keep the water crystal clear, and it has done its job from the tank that I was using this for. And then, but it also can be a detrimental thing. And in my case, this was a bad circumstance that was unfortunate. And like I said, the 11 months of not doing any filter maintenance was way overdue. I could throw any excuse out there in the book of why I should have done it earlier, and it's just going to come down to I should have done it earlier. But in a nutshell, after going through each tray, and I'll show you pictures that will come up here in a second of what I found, but what this UV light did, if you leave it on for a long period of time, and I'm assuming what most people do with these is they'll turn it on for a few hours each day and then turn it off, and then they'll turn it on for a few hours the next day and turn it off. And there is a button that's right here that you can switch on and off, and I started doing that before, and then I got this filter used originally, and then I turned it on, and then of course, you know, excuses, life got busy and that sort of thing, and then it ended up being on for several days and then several months, and then it was just on for a while, and then eventually it just dawned on me like, oh, I haven't done a filter maintenance in a while, and then I realized, oh, I left this light on. So I was hoping it was going to be okay, but as you see in some of these pictures, it's pretty crazy how one UV light in here, even with this housing right here, is outside of this UV light, and all the O-rings were good, everything is sealed in here, the light's secure, there was nothing that was burning through this housing or anything like that. And for anyone who doesn't know how these SunSun filters work, is the water goes through the top and goes alongside of the UV light, and then goes through, you guys can see there's this piece here, and it's each tray has one of these. So, and they all get lined up, so the water filters through the bottom and then comes through this hole where this UV light is, and then comes back up through the trays. So as you see in some of these pictures, these trays got burnt. And I'm saying, like, when I say burnt, I mean it was through the trays, and I'll even show you here that it actually got burnt on this little spot right here. And I'll share a picture of that as well. But I ended up ordering more trays on Amazon, so thankfully that was available. But the one thing that was not available was the very top tray, and I actually had to order that through eBay, and it's like 3 weeks out. So these trays were burnt. The bag, the carbon bag that was in there, that was split open, so all that carbon got released within those trays. Thankfully, the bottom tray was okay. And I had a spare tray already, but I only had one of them, so I only had to buy one more of these trays. The top two trays were just burnt right around where this loophole goes. These trays were burnt right where that UV light feeds into. And the problem with that is see how like it's burnt right here. And this happened in 2 of my 3 trays. The second one wasn't as bad because it's obviously not as close to that UV light. If you look at this new tray that I have in here, it's got that, you know, solid piece that's in here. And if you look at this tray, it's not even existent. Like it's gone. It's completely gone. And also, this tray here, it's got this hole in it, but it's also got burnt right here at the top because that's where this piece came off that I found inside there as well. Like I said, the problem is that this is the first tray, and the second tray was similar to this, but not as bad, and then the last tray was fine. Is whenever that water comes through, water coming through the filter and going all the way to the bottom and coming back up through the bottom of these trays and coming back up and feeding back out to the tank, this water is, I would say at least half, if not more, of the water was just literally going straight out and shooting through the sides and then just pushing right back up out into the filter. So in other words, long story short, this filter's not doing its job, what it's supposed to be doing, because this got burnt out. And like I showed you in the housing here, that it even burned the side a little bit. So I want to make this like a learning lesson for both myself, because I'm probably not going to use this UV light anymore. And if I do, I'll only use it for, like I said before, a few hours a day. So say for example, if my tank kind of gets, murkier, green water, for whatever reason, and I want to have a little bit of clarity or just clean it up a little bit, just turn it on for a few hours a day and then turn it back off. And then I'll leave it off all the time unless I need to clear something up in the tank. And it's a community tank too. It's not an African cichlid tank like I have all here down here in the basement. So it's not going to be that dirty. The bioload's not going to be that heavy, so it shouldn't be that much of a concern. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows that if you own one of these SunSun filters, that just to keep in mind not leave this bulb on all the time. I debated about not buying another SunSun because of this reason, but I really didn't want to buy another canister filter and spend over $100, give or take, however much. But this filter worked well, at least to my knowledge, until I opened it up, and I was like, wow, this thing isn't filtering anything out at all. Thankfully, I have a Haiger filter hanging on the back right now that's kind of like at the top of its game right now, because it works up to about the 46 gallons, give or take, of being able to take care of the beneficial bacteria and all that jazz. And if you guys haven't seen that video, I'll leave a card at the top there, so that way you guys can check out that video if you guys think you would like that Haiger hang on the back. But that's what's currently in my tank now until I get the parts for this. But like I said, I had a replacement from when I first got this filter that I had an extra of, so that works. So I had two, and then I bought an extra one on Amazon. The impeller, I believe you can still find on Amazon, but like I said, the only thing I could not find on Amazon was this top tray, and I had to get that on eBay, and it's like 3 weeks out. And this is burnt, so I don't want water going through here and messing up the whole filtration process, because on the very bottom, the last tray, it had hardly any type of detritus and any type of bioload on the very bottom where the core sponge is at. So that there indicated to me that was like, and I had no pre-sponge filter on the intake tube either. So that told me with the amount of stuff that I had in this filter was all just going into the top and maybe some of the second tray and just pushing right back up at the top. So a lot of this wasn't even getting filtered. And even that last flat sponge that was supposed to be the fine filter, kind of like a pinky floss or just another fine filter that's just a flat that goes on the very top here, that was even burnt. So, and there was a lot of stuff that was caked up in that last fine filter sponge, and it's supposed to be caught most in that bottom part and then go from your heavy and medium sponges to your biological media, which I had in the center tray, and then the very top, that's where I had that fine filter and that carbon bag. So anyways, in a nutshell, I just wanted to make a quick video on this and kind of show you guys that if you have one of these SunSun filters, maybe it'd be a good point to not leave this light on all the time like I did. And this is just a mistake that I'm going to learn, and I'm going to continue to use this until it kicks the bucket. No pun intended. Instead of buying a new one, because it worked well, and it will work well again since I have 3 solid trays with this tube in it. But I'm glad I did my filter maintenance, even though it was way overdue. But anyways, thanks again for listening in on this. And I hope this is a lesson learned for you guys if you have a SunSun filter, and if you plan to buy it in the future, which if this thing actually broke completely and wasn't usable, I'd probably just get a different canister filter, and I wouldn't try to like repair it. So there's a few things I did. I cleaned the green hoses that came with it, and because those were definitely needed cleaned. I greased all the O-rings, cleaned the impeller, and everything was just completely done. Anyways, thanks again for watching. I hope this is something you guys can learn from, and that was my whole point in making this video. So have a great day, and take care of your fishes. Price tag out.